Okay, everybody, thank you very much for your time today and welcome to Accenture's Women in Technology Google Plus Hangout. So what we're going to cover today is a little bit about technology, a little bit about the women in technology, and also the exciting careers that we have for you here at Accenture. My name is Dion. I'm with the recruitment team in Malaysia, and I do recruiting for digital and also technology positions. And with me today, I've actually got three very enthusiastic, smart ladies that are part of the Accenture team. And we'll also be covering a couple of points of view studies that we've done with Accenture. And we'd like to share that with you as well today. So the first thing that we want to cover is referencing the two studies that we do in Accenture yearly. We have one study that is called our Accenture Technology Vision 2014, which is the Malaysian perspective of this. We do a survey that sort of looks at the trends that are up and coming in technology for our industry, and we tweak that specifically to the Malaysian market to give us an idea of what we can look forward to for the trends in Malaysia. We also have the 2014 Women's Research in conjunction with our International Women's Day this year, entitled Knowing and Growing Your Career Capital. So we'll talk a little bit more about that as well. Jumping right into it, we would like to introduce you to the three ladies that we have with us today, and I'll hand over the floor to them to say hello. Juliana, let's start with you.
My name is Juliana Hashir. I am a senior manager at Accenture Malaysia. Been with the firm for actually quite a long time, over 12 years, and started fresh from university, not having a technical degree. I did economics, accounting, and finance, and joined at the time what was known as the process industry. So started out from the bottom, learned a little bit about C++ coding, but very quickly moved on to process re-engineering type of work, and then progressed into different roles. And currently what I enjoy doing right now is global deployment projects for a software called SAP. Probably will cover a little bit more about what I do in the next few minutes, but I'll pass it over to my colleagues on the line as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Fizah. I am actually a manager for emerging tech in Accenture. I started off in computer science. So I basically started off in technology. I was working in data centers up till 2 years later, and ever since then I've been doing custom coding for financial services for the banks. And for the past couple of years in Accenture, I've been working on vehicle monitoring systems for a client. And in my current scope right now, we're looking into how we can utilize Google Glass as well as all the other emerging technologies that we have right now currently. So I'm going to hand this over to Lynda. Lynda?
Hi everybody, thanks for joining the Google Hangout. My name is Lynda. I'm a consultant within the Resources Operating Group in Accenture, and I've been with Accenture for slightly more than 3 years. My background is actually engineering. Aeronautical to be specific, so not technical background, but currently in what we call the Embankment Performance Management team for an oil and gas international oil company, supporting the delivery of its major capital projects, of building one of the largest liquefied natural gas facility, which will be operating in the southern hemisphere. So it's really exciting. And the work that we do quite varied, because we focuses on different areas such as continuous embedment, process embedment, system improvements, driving operational excellence through their key performance measures or performance management. And we also do functionality activation. So that's the I guess the techy side of things, because we're introducing new technology to the current core business system, which is SAP. Yeah. So basically, in short, what I've been doing in the past, 3 years, is to support the client's agenda in getting ready for operations of this massive facility. Back to you, Dion.
Thanks, ladies. So as you can probably see, these three ladies come from diverse backgrounds, some technical, some not so technical, even engineering for Lynda, and somehow or other found their path of career in Accenture. So I think what we want to try and speak to the general public about is the fact that, a lot of people think that technology is a really scary thing. It's a lot of jargon, it's a lot of programming, it's a lot of coding. It's a man's world, which we can all disagree on, I'm sure. So maybe if I can just go back to the three of you for your points of view, maybe if you could tell us a bit about how you got started in technology, if you had any points in your career where you felt that, people were against you being a woman in the technology field, and how did you overcome that? Also maybe some highlights or interesting points in your career, kinds of experiences and projects that you've done, that sort of thing. I'll hand it off to Juliana to get started.
Thanks, Dion. For me personally, I guess the challenge hasn't really stopped, even though I've spent many years in this industry. Particularly, my parents still they don't know what I do. Every time I get back home, they'll ask me to fix the printer or fix something else. But seriously, the reason why I'm still in this industry is because of diversity of clients and type of work that I'm exposed to. I mentioned before that I'm in the SAP line, and what I actually do is I manage the products industry, which is basically all the clients in Malaysia that deal with automotive industry, manufacturing, consumer goods. All those clients, in terms of the account, how well they do, the opportunities, the delivery, the different projects that are ongoing in those clients, those fall under my purview, and that makes it very interesting because I get opportunities to speak to C-suite clients about emerging technologies, about things out there that can help them operate better. And it's not so much being technical in terms of I know how to perform a code, I know how to fix something, but it's taking that knowledge that's out there and knowing how to adapt it to the client situation. And I'm sure all of you, technology is so prevalent now, it's much more accessible than what it was before. It's no longer a green screen, it's all around us. We've got smartphones, apps, etc. So the opportunities are out there for anyone, be it male or female, to be interested in and to get that opportunity to be hands-on and excel in this industry.
That's very good insights, Juliana, and with your years of experience, I'm sure you've come across quite a number of clients that may not have taken you very seriously because you're a woman. Do you have any sort of experiences that you might want to share with us? And how you prove them wrong, of course?
It's always a case of, I guess, not being one person. So I've always had good team members and team leads, and what we do in Accenture especially well is we support each other. So even though I'm put in a position where I'm either new in the role or there are people who doubt my ability, I've always been able to prove them wrong by actually doing enough background information, homework, researching, as well as delivering either up to standard or exceeding standard. And that's how I've, I guess, established that credibility, not just at one client, but around the world. I've been fortunate enough to travel quite a bit for my job, basically get posted in many countries, not just in ASEAN, but also be the lead in the North American deployment, Mexico, and recently just got back from the UK for a client engagement. So a lot of this, I think the barriers are coming down. One just has to have the interest and the belief that you're able to be the best that you can, and there's nothing stopping you. I think that's what has brought me to explore the different opportunities that are out there, not hold myself back because I was afraid or someone had doubts of my ability.
I think you brought up a very good point about having doubts, because I read an article that Sheryl Sandberg shared, and she wrote a book that said Lean In, Women Work and the Workplace. And she basically said that the biggest obstacle for women in the workplace is the fact that they doubt their own capabilities. Fizah, do you have any opinion on that, on our strong women leaders today, and about how we need to believe ourselves that we should be able to move forward?
Yeah. I think I'll cover this from a historical perspective and then move forward to the current state. Historically, we have women in technology. We've got a lot of those. Just to name a few, we've got Ada Lovelace. She created an analyst model on the Babbage machine, and we also have Grace Hopper, who developed COBOL. So there have been women historically from the past until now who's been pioneers, who's been moving the whole technology landscape. And if we were to bring it forward to right now, we've got a lot of women who are in CEO, Chief of Operations, who are CTOs of companies. Just to name a few, I mean, you just raised it yourself, Sheryl Sandberg, who's the CEO for Facebook right now. We've got Michelle Zatlyn, who is a co-founder for Cloudflare. We also have Marissa Mayer, who is the CEO of Yahoo. And closer to home, we actually have Cheryl Yeo, who is the CEO of Magic. Magic is our Malaysian Global Innovation and Creativity Center that just got formed. And of course, our very own Country Managing Director, Janet Yap, who's also our technology lead. So there are women in the industry right now, and they are pushing the boundaries when it comes to technology. And it's just that we need to look up to these kind of women. They need to be the role models that we kind of aspire to be, so that it gives us the courage, as well as eliminate whatever doubts that we have in terms of technology. It does get easier as you go along the way, and you will find naysayers, but when it comes to naysayers, all you can do is, I'm just going to prove you wrong. And that's personally what I think that's happening right now in the industry. Back to you, Dion.
Thanks very much, Fizah. Lynda, what are your takes on this? I mean, when you started off your career, were there any objections for you to go into engineering? I mean, it's not a field that a lot of women would say, hey, I want to go into engineering, this is what I want to study, and this is the field that I want to get into. So tell us about that.
I think in terms of the decision of what I want to do in life, or which path that I would like to go, I've been very fortunate enough to have my parents supported me along the way, and not questioning what is, you know, the typical women kind of degree that you should go to, or you shouldn't be going to engineering because it's like full of men and things like that. So I think at this day and age is just a matter of perception. So like what Juliana has mentioned, if we do have the passion or the interest to pursue technology, and right now, I mean, technology is not, I would think it's not really a bombastic word anymore. We do carry smartphones everywhere. I think everybody at least owns a piece of technology, or even more than one. So yeah, I think it's still a matter of perception. It's not so much about, I mean, knowing the technical stuff and all that is good. The algorithm, programming, and things like that is good. But I think the technology today also requires you to be able to communicate the technology that you are trying to sell to a client, and to be able to have that kind of a discussion with the client to build a system that suits their needs. So I wouldn't, I mean, I strongly encourage not to all the women out there not to be too afraid by the word itself. And I think the other good side about joining Accenture is that I think they've been good in creating opportunities that allows us to have a variety in the type of work or role that we do in the technology space. Yeah, so like in my role, for example, currently in a team of 10 men. I'm the only female in this. It's quite a big group, but the work that I do doesn't necessarily have to be just, you know, doing the coding or the green screen or the black screen that you guys are talking about. But the work really varies. You can do things like requirements gathering, understanding what is it that the client wants from a system. Yeah, then the techie part comes when you need to analyze what is it that the system can do. Maybe doing a prototyping, testing, or building them. Yeah, and then discussing or reaching a consensus as to what the system can deliver and how much can it satisfy their requirements. So it really varies, and I think women have the upper hand in handling those kind of discussions, or they probably have that. I think they can empathize better to conduct those kind of discussions. Yeah. So,
It's
yeah,
very
they shouldn't
interesting
be.
that you brought up empathy, because I think one of the common misconceptions of women is that we're emotional. So I'll be very keen to hear what you think about that.
Um, okay, I wouldn't say all women are not emotional, but that's just the.
But we're all humans, right? There's always a human element in everything that
Yeah,
we do.
yeah, men can be emotional too, but it's just I think it's naturally ingrained in us to be able to empathize more. So sometimes when we do need to have that tough discussion with a client or our colleagues or our whoever it is, I think we can read people better, and be able to relate to people better, I guess. So yeah, we shouldn't. I think at the end of the day, it's just a matter of perception. We can definitely craft out what our technology careers will look like. I mean, to a path that we would want to go for, and yeah, so it's a matter of how you having that passion and crafting your way to get there.
Linda,
Okay, I'm gonna
you
open it
brought
up.
up a very good point. Sorry, Dion. I just
Go
wanted
ahead,
to add,
Juliana.
yeah, because over the many years, what I've seen, a lot of team members and peers, we all come from a diverse background, like the group we have here today, and it's really that there are a few of us who are very, very technical, and they become the SMEs that people go to for specific problems to get the best optimization of a code, etc. But a lot of us, and most of people who are successful within the firm, be it technology or otherwise, are those who are interested in the work that they do, and technology is just a part of it. We talked earlier about liaising with the clients, finding the requirements, helping them to create a better process, better way of working. It doesn't happen if you're just there to create code or to bring in technology. It's always a human factor. And the most successful of the consultants who move up within the firm, or even leave the firm and become successful in their own right, are those who are interested in understanding the issue and leveraging off the technology as a supporting factor, not making it as the number one item. So don't let the word or preconceptions of what technology is be the barrier of options out there.
Thank you very much, Juliana. I think if you don't mind, I just want to open it up to the three of you to sort of see, what sort of roles or what sort of projects have you guys been on that have been particularly exciting for you? Something which is cutting edge, something which is very new in the market, something which Accenture is obviously a pioneer of.
I'll take that.
Sure.
So, yeah. So, working with my client, which is this international oil and gas company for the past 4 years, I've had the opportunity to work on some of the more innovative projects. One of it, as I was saying earlier, was this vehicle monitoring system that we deployed into all the commercial vehicles that we have. So it's new tech. Not to say it's new tech. It's just the utilization of technology was done differently. And it comes back to what Juliana and Linda were saying. It's not only about coding, but it's about what we can do with technology to improve the current state of the situation, the current processes, the current infrastructure, the current organization. So what we did was that we took what was considered as layman, which is your telecommunications, networking, and all that, and we used a method to track all our commercial vehicles. Now, the idea of tracking all these commercial vehicles was to really look into how we can improve driver drivers' driving behavior. We want drivers who will drive with, with the kind of care that they would on a day-to-day basis. We want them to be able to drive safely, and we kind of want them to also improve how they would do their day-to-day driving, as well as looking into safety hazards and things like that. So that project was an example of whereby we actually use current tech as well as a combination with new tech, and it was used to actually improve what would normally be business as usual, what we would take for granted. So it's about improving the whole livelihood of a certain organization, or just improvements in general.
Sounds fantastic. Anyone else to add anything to that?
I was recently involved in a project for an automotive manufacturer, and I guess the ideal situation that we helped them to accomplish essentially was almost like a self-service portal where consumers can actually order their cars down to the color, down to the finishing, and know when the car, and can track when the cars are at the assembly line and when it will be delivered. So this may not be something very new in other industries, for example, Nike or someone like that, where you go in and customize shoes, etc. But for cars, it is quite novel, and we've introduced that to the client to help them not only gain more traction with the customers, because it's personalized, but also gain more market share in terms of being able to offer something different to a relatively low range to medium range type of vehicle. So that's something quite good, and it's the first in the world that we've actually integrated the technologies behind that process to make it happen. So quite a good experience there, and a very good team that brought it to life. So very proud of that team.
And very exciting as well, with all this new technology going around. Okay. Lynda, would you have anything else you want to add?
Yeah. I do have something to add, but it's probably not a new technology, because I'm actually working in a SAP project. So it's an ERP system that has been quite established for a long time. But what I wanted to point out is that in terms of technology, it's always crucial to have enhancement, or like new updates to make processes run smoother, or to help your client do their job in a more efficient manner. So I had the chance to basically deliver this solution that automates some of their parts of their requisition to pay process, giving access to the third-party vendors to basically key in the work that they have done in an online portal, and having that interface with the SAP system that my client is using. So I think the end-to-end experience was really an eye-opener. And it also creates, opportunity to basically enhance this technology that a client currently have. Yeah. So that's my side of the story.
And I'm sure you guys are doing a fabulous job. I mean, Accenture is the #1 SAP implementer in the world, are we not? Thank you, Juliana. Yay! Fizah, I'm going to move over to you. We were talking about exciting opportunities, and about how we have quite a bit of research that we do, and also in terms of leading the trends of what's happening in the market today, not just in Malaysia but also around the world. And Juliana and Lynda both talked about different systems and technologies that are innovative and new as well. So you've worked on a piece which is very close to your heart, the Accenture Technology Vision 2014. So would you maybe want to just walk us through that, through the 6 different trends that we've identified and those points of view from Accenture?
The Accenture Tech Vision, I think I kind of need to go into a bit of a background here for everyone. So the Tech Vision was something that Accenture, on a year-to-year basis, we would basically look into what are the trends that we want to, well, future trends basically. We would take 3 to 5 years to come up with the 6 trends, and this will come by a year-by-year basis. So for 2014, we have come up with 6 trends, and the first one, okay, the screen looks a bit blur for me right now. So the first one is big is the next big thing. So we've got digital physical blur, from workforce to crowdsource, data supply chain, harnessing hyperscale, business of applications, and architecting resilience. Now, to most of you, it might sound like I'm rattling a bunch of words. So to put it into context, because we are in Malaysia and we're talking to a whole bunch of people who are in Malaysia, the 2 most applicable trends that we have in Tech Vision would be our trend number 1, which would be digital physical blur. Now, what do we mean by digital physical blur? So the line between digital and physical right now has been blurred in the sense that you've got your own device, you've got the Internet of Things. Basically everything and anything that's out there, technology, your Facebook, your social media, your Twitter, your Foursquare, everything else right now, it's easily available that it becomes a given. But how do companies or technologies or, well, anyone for that matter, just bring forward technology to utilize it in a different manner altogether? So this is where this digital physical blur comes in. We've got companies such as Astro, whereby they developed this thing called Astro on the Go, and you're now able, if you subscribe to it, you're able to actually watch all your series, or right now it's the World Cup, you can watch World Cup, the reruns and everything else on your tablet and everything else. And you've got, I don't know who you guys are supporting, but way to go Brazil. So anyways, yeah, so Astro on the Go is one fine example of how digital physical blur is really happening right now. The other one that I think every one of us who have heard that's happening in Malaysia is MyTaxi. MyTaxi has pretty much revolutionized how you would get your cab. It's no longer standing by the curb and hailing for it, going like, taxi, no more. It's about, with the advancement of technology right now, we're able to get our taxis by just using our app, by using our phone. We just need to see who's actually available and who's actually going to ping to it. And these are the 2 examples that is very prevalent in Malaysia right now. The next trend is crowdsourcing. Now, crowdsourcing, it's not exactly a new trend, but it is something that that has a heavy following right now. So we have, I'm pretty sure most of you would have heard Kickstarter. I think the majority would have used Kickstarter to get freebies and all that and start funding money and all that. Well, I'm not too sure how many of you knows this, but in Malaysia we have an equivalent of Kickstarter, Pitch-in. So how these guys work, right, is that they would allow others to pitch their ideas, and based on those ideas that's actually on their website, they would try to crowdfund for funding or crowdsource for funding. Now this is from a monetary perspective, but you also have, like in Malaysia for example, you have huge grassroots movements for open source, MyOSC, and communities whereby they allow people or allow programmers, technologies, system architects, solution architects to basically contribute code or to contribute ideas into their community, which will be shared with everyone, which is also another form of crowdsourcing. And we also, well, the newest one I think would be called social charity. So basically it looks like Pitch-in, it works like Kickstarter. It is a crowdfunding site that they go through organizations that will need funding, or they will go through charities that need funding on a month-to-month basis, and that's how they will collect money from the masses. They use crowdsourcing and crowdfunding to get monetary aid to actually assist them in whatever endeavors that they're doing right now. So these are the 2 trends that is very prevalent from a Malaysia perspective. So we do see this, even though crowdsourcing, it's pretty new. Most people would have used Kickstarter being the more famous one globally, but we do have a lot of endorsement from the government for this. Magic is one of the biggest supporters for this. And we do have a lot of other companies out there who are doing this to help out entrepreneurs as well as technology. People who are interested in technology to actually move forward with their ideas and so on. So yeah, that's basically kind of like the two things that we see that would kind of like change the landscape of industry for Malaysia.
Okay, so it's a lot of good things, and you mentioned as well that this is the way that companies are going to be doing business moving forward. This is how we're going to be engaging our partners and engaging our media. And that's also where Accenture Digital comes in, where we will be helping our partners and our clients to gain a bit of a foothold, I guess, in the digital market and to take them forward into this new technology and the trends that we're seeing in the market. So what do you think this is going to mean for technology professionals, and where do you think the direction is going to be in terms of the jobs or the careers that would be available with the emerging of these 6 trends?
I think, how do I articulate this? A couple of years back, just to kind of like, go through this whole history. A couple of years back, I think I read a report somewhere that stated that there was a saturation of IT professionals in the country. At one point, I think every university was offering computer science degree or a software engineering degree or a hardware engineering degree along those lines. And at one point, it became at one point, I think there were a few articles that came out and said that, oh, there are graduates who are not able to find jobs, and there are graduates who are not able to find the right thing that they want to do. This was a couple of years ago. This was back before you had your mobile, your smartphones, and all that. How does the 6 trends actually impact the technology industry in Malaysia? I think it would impact it really extensively. Though some of our trends might not have, it might not be that famous here or might not have so much of a following around here, but there are a few that is moving very aggressively forward. So digital physical blur will cover mobility. I have seen tons of small startups that came up in Malaysia that is going into this, that is providing mobility, that is providing apps for your iPhone, for your tablet, and for everything else. The need to satisfy the technological demands by the consumer basically has created this large pool of careers that would need IT professionals. And even then, IT professionals are no longer your normal average professionals. It's no longer the generic programmer, system architect or solution architect. Now you've got social media advisors who came up with like computer science degrees, and all they do is really to just basically consult you on how you can utilize current technologies to elevate your media, your image in the media, or to elevate the awareness about your company, and so on and so forth. So there is a change. I do see this huge change that's happening in terms of IT professionals. We need more and more talented and skilled IT professionals, because with the adverse effect of technology going everywhere, everybody carrying smartphones, the internet of everything, companies looking into digitizing or going on this digital roadmap for their own transformation and all that, there is a demand for IT professionals. And IT professionals nowadays as well, like I said earlier, it's no longer conventional. You got social media consultants. That's like one of the most, I think, prevalent change in technology. And then you've got data security professionals, and you've got data scientists. So these are new professionals that's spawning out with the adverse effect of technology, which is actually a good thing, I think.
Fantastic, definitely. And you mentioned all these different skills and different areas that are going to be growing with the new emerging trends in the market. And I mean, I'm sure we'll all agree that with women, we are not disadvantaged in any way, because as long as you have the knowledge and the skills to be able to take this forward, there shouldn't be any sort of disparity or any sort of non-inclusion of people who are able to do the job. So if I could move to Juliana, perhaps if you could sort of share a little bit of information on, how is it that you can build your career capital, to build your credibility and also your skill levels, and to be front runner, I guess, to land these positions that Fizah just spoke about?
I think for me, the key thing is not be afraid of trying out something new, something that you're not familiar with, or you think you don't have enough background or past experience. Always take that as a challenge, that embrace that challenge, leverage off what you already know and apply it. The key thing is that you need to understand how you can contribute to that area and be flexible. I mean, a lot of people sometimes get stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. I think each person has their own power to change that and to drive to something which they are probably more interested in doing, or feel that it's more worth their time. So don't be afraid of change. I know in the past, when I first started out, I always go back to my dad, right, who goes, oh, why don't you become such and such a chartered accountant, for example, and that's the role that you play from the day one all the way till you retire. That is definitely no longer the case, and even though I've stuck with the same firm for such a long time, I've managed to diversify the skills that I've learned just by taking the opportunity to try something new, not be afraid to put up my hand when I need help, or say I prefer to do something else, but have that conviction that you'll be good at what you do, have enough knowledge to contribute and embrace that change. So I think that versatility has brought me a lot of, or opened a lot of doors for me, and it's also with a lot of networking and relying on my team member as well as supervisors. It's all an ecosystem that each person needs to be able to harness to be successful in whatever they do.
Okay, all right. So you're saying that, you know, they should be focusing on building skills and making sure that those skills are relevant to what's happening in the markets and to add value to their careers. Lynda, what do you think? I mean, how do you think that we can sort of grow our career capital and know ourselves better and be more relevant to what's happening in the industry now?
Okay. So, well, I think Juliana has most of the points said already. But I'd just like to touch on the three points from what we know from our International Women's Day on growing your career capital. So, like you mentioned earlier, building your skills. So, I think you know, building skills is it's like a marathon. It's an ongoing journey, and it doesn't stop whether you are at when you are in school, when you are in high school, or when you are at a senior manager level, or etc. I mean, I think we need to continue to sharpen our saw, be it a technical skill, functional skills, or soft skills. So basically being proactive enough to grab on any kind of opportunity that lets us build skills in these various areas. Second thing is proactive enough to basically gain new experiences, or being flexible enough to try out new experiences. And this goes back to like Juliana mentioned, being flexible. So if you are introduced to a new kind of roles or new kind of experience, don't be afraid of those uncertainties, because I feel like if you are equipped enough, if you have the skills required, it shouldn't be too difficult. And finally, growing your network is definitely very important. And I think maybe just a tip from my experience is that in terms of expanding your network, it's not just about building networks in a professional environment per se, but this can also be done in a more informal way. So things like coffees, lunches, and all that. You shouldn't be afraid to build networks with anybody, because you'll never know when your path might cross each other. And yeah, you'll never know what's going to happen like 3-4 years down the line. That person might be your boss, and if you've already built that kind of relationship from the start, I think it will go a long way. So these three points, building skills, gaining new experiences, and also expanding networks, I think it's a domino effect, or rather more of a cycle. So for example, like gaining new experiences, if you don't have the skills required, then it's really hard to basically survive in that new kind of environment. And if you don't have the right or big enough network, or the right network, then it's difficult to get the new experiences. So again, to me, this is a cycle, and it's something that I think we need to think about, or rather embrace in our day-to-day work.
Sure,
I think it's a
definitely.
matter of having the right attitude. Sorry again, Dion.
No, please go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't boil down to what specific skills you already have with you, or the knowledge that you have with you. It is oftentimes, and this is even with the clients who tell me, right, they sometimes agree or they like a team member not because they know 100% or 120% of their work, but they see that kind of personality and in how they approach a problem. So they will know that even without that information, you're able to be creative enough to think outside the box, or be proactive enough. It's always that approach and mindset that each person has that will determine how far he or she would want to go in life, be it career or personal life. So have that good mentality, and always look out to continuously improve, and not just settle for one thing. Pick everything that's given to you as an opportunity to learn more. Be it a good lesson or a bad lesson, you still learn from it. So take that as you move along in your career to establish yourself and know who you want to be and what you want to be in life.
Yep, that's for sure. And like both of you mentioned, it's very important for you to know the people around you, to make the efforts to spread your wings in that sense, to make sure that you make the connections that are important, learn from whoever it is that you can learn, and make new friends, because you never know what your new buddies are going to be teaching you. And in Accenture as well, we use a lot of social media. I mean, we do a lot of promotions, marketing on social media. We recruit via social media. Our Google Hangout is being streamed on Facebook right now. So if anybody is tuning in on Facebook and you have any questions, you can go ahead and post a question in the chat box. I'll be able to pick it up at the end of the session. So we're trying to be inclusive in terms of our social media, and being able to reach out to a wider mass to spread the word of technology as well. Maybe if I could direct it to Juliana, what do you think is going to be, well, in terms of the exposure of the roles and the exposure of positions that we have within Accenture, and what you've mentioned now about building skills, how easy or how difficult has it been in your career within Accenture to move up the ranks, to grow and take on different opportunities, different roles, that sort of thing? If you could give us a bit of insight for your personal experience.
So personally, I joined Accenture not really knowing what the firm was about. And this was during the time where information wasn't as easily available as it is today. There wasn't really internet, etc. But the roles that I was given, starting off with programming type of role to conversion type of role, data conversion, all that builds up to eventual roles that I managed to get offered. So from learning all the way from the bottom, where maybe you would see something as being mundane, you don't know why, or you've got an accounting degree and then you're looking at data and cleansing data or coding something. It started clicking in further down the line, because you realize that you do need to understand what your team member does when you're a project manager, and that will make you a better project manager because you've actually lived that life. You're able to empathize with that person and understand the pitfalls of that role and be able to plan better. So eventually, after doing all these so-called back office type of roles, whereas it really depends. You see, there are some more glamorous roles, and it really depends on the timing and the openings that are available. When you first start out, you're on a level playing ground. So there really isn't that much to choose from between whether you get for example, a data conversion role, a programming role, or something that makes you client-face and gather requirements. But eventually, if you're able to demonstrate that you're able, even though it is not your cup of tea or not your strength, you're able to find ways to go about getting the role done and getting the job done. There are people within the firm who recognize those strengths, and from there I get offered roles to lead functional teams because I understand how the data flows into the processes. From there, I look after integration, not just from the finance perspective, but also across different systems and different processes, all the way up to managing global deployments across different countries. So starting small doesn't limit your opportunities. It's what you do with those so-called mundane type of roles that defines what possibilities there are next. And it doesn't hurt you to actually ask a senior, for example, tell me what my role is about. I want to understand the bigger picture, because a lot of people, especially in larger projects, they're just given one piece of work and they don't, either they're afraid or they don't think about even asking how this contributes to the larger picture. I think knowing what the larger picture is all about and knowing what other roles there are and what you can potentially do and voicing that out is important so that people actually know what you're interested to do, and when the opportunity presents itself, you might get a shot at moving.
Okay. And I guess from a recruiting standpoint, I mean, coming from the recruitment team, we have got questions sometimes where some candidates who apply to us, they sort of ask us, you know, are we only open to Malaysians? Are we only open to guys? Are we only open to people below 35 years of age? So, you know, it's not really what we look at. A lot of the times what we look at is really, you know, do you have the skills to do the job? Are you able to perform? Are you able to deal with our clients? Are you able to deal with our stakeholders? Are you able to add value to the processes that we already have within Accenture? Are you able to bring in new ideas to the table? And so that's the sort of thing that we want to look for somebody who's going to come into the organization, and I'm sure that will also contribute towards their achievements on project. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Correct. Through the various screening activities during recruitment, be it face-to-face or over the phone, many times the candidates who get rejected are because they're not able to articulate themselves and what they've done convincingly enough. And on the other hand, there are candidates as well who are able to converse very well, very fluent, but with insufficient or mismatch of experience versus the expected role. So we do have a lot of openings within Accenture Malaysia, as well as all our different offices, and it's a matter of making sure that we get the right fit in terms of both the skills as well as the personality for that person to be able to assimilate within Accenture, appreciate the culture, and grow within the firm. We also don't want to just hire people for the sake of skills and just use for short term. It's a partnership that the firm as well as individuals who join go through, and hopefully we do get the right candidates to apply as well to join us to make sure that we grow our practice in Malaysia from strength to strength.
And I think the other thing which I want to bring up is the, again, misperception that in consulting firms, you have no life. You have no work-life balance. You have no time for friends, no time for family. You come in before the sun comes up and you go home after the sun comes down. But I think in Accenture, we have a pretty fun time. I mean, we've got our KL Recreation Club where we have a lot of activities. And I know Linda's very active in that. Lynda, would you mind sharing a little bit about our KLRC?
Yeah. Okay. So so that's actually the fun part about Accenture. So we have this KL Recreational Club, and I've been privileged enough to be involved in the KLRC, what we call KLRC committee, and I'm currently the vice president for KLRC. So again, I think it's a matter of what you do to make your work fun. I wouldn't say that we don't pull out the all-nighters or we don't stay up late at certain time of the year or whatnot. We do work hard, but we can also make our work life fun. And in this case, joining things like KLRC, which is basically a recreational club where we do all the fun activities like activities that has a learning and experience kind of element. So things like going for a movie together, we do a board games night together, Amazing Race, we do Master Chef and things like that. And we also have competitive events in the firm. So everybody that joins Accenture actually gets assigned to a rumah sukan. So this goes back to how it was during your high school or your primary school, yeah, where you are put into a rumah sukan and you'll end up bonding with people who are within your rumah sukan because you do participate in those activities together and you compete together. So I think that's the fun and element, fun side of being in Accenture. And we also do the other thing that we do in KLRC, which is our third portfolio, is the corporate citizenship portfolio. So this is everything, any activities that has to do with giving back to the society. Yeah, so we do participate in doing eco-friendly kind of activities like Eco Day Out and things like that. So again, I mean, we do work hard in Accenture. But I think we also put the fun element to our work life as well.
Thank you very much. That's definitely very true. So I want to thank all of you again today for your time. I know you've got busy schedules and clients that you need to keep happy, but thank you very much for your time today to come in here and share your opinions and your thoughts on having women in technology, and also a little bit about what you do in the Accenture workplace. So I think I'm going to put on my HR hat right now and start talking about positions and hiring and recruitment. So we have a large number of positions that are available for technology within Accenture. Again, this goes across the different operating groups that are industry focused, and also growth platforms that we've got for Accenture Technology, Accenture Digital, Accenture Strategy, and also Accenture Outsourcing. You can see on your screens now my email address. So if you'd like to write into me to get more information, or if you'd like to deposit your resume, please feel free to do so. You can also reach out to us for social media. You've got links in there for Facebook, for Twitter, LinkedIn, and also for YouTube, where you can get in touch with us and the rest of the recruiting team to find out more about the opportunities that we have. Just to give you a bit of an insight of what we're looking at right now, like we mentioned earlier on in the Hangout, we are the main partner for SAP implementations in the world at this point in time, and as such, a lot of our roles are actually focused around SAP. We do have positions available for SAP BI, BW, for BPC, Business Planning and Consolidation, for FI, which is the finance module, also for SAP Plant Maintenance and Sales and Distribution, SD. We have roles around the business analysis, around the project management, Salesforce.com, and other CRM type software. So if you want to get a full list of what kind of positions are available within Accenture, please visit our careers page, and you'll be able to submit your resume there as well. Let me just have a quick view to see if we have any other questions coming through. We've answered a few already on the way. Here's a question. If I'm a student of psychology and marketing, can I join Accenture Technology? The answer is yes, you can if you do have the right skill sets or if you have any experience. So we've had people who come from all different walks of life, and you could study a field which you may not be so keen to do. Maybe you did it because mommy and daddy said you had to, or you thought it was something that you wanted to do, but halfway through your course, you change your mind. It's not quite what your passion is anymore. You can reach out to us, to the recruiting team. We have opportunities for fresh analysts, and also for internships if you want to do internships with us, and also, of course, for experienced hires. I think what we'll be looking at for Accenture Technology, we've mentioned skill sets a couple of times throughout our call, and we'll continue to focus on that. So if you have the right skill sets, you've done certifications, or you'd like to enhance your knowledge on a certain area, then do get in touch, and we'll be able to have a one-on-one consultation on whether that can happen. All right, so I think we're good to go, guys. Thank you very much, everybody. Let's hope that this is going to encourage our women in the workforce to move into technology, and for our young girls to also move into the area of technology. Thank you very much. Ladies, any last words? Can I go on to Juliana?
Thanks for the opportunity to reach out to a larger audience using technology. I just wanted to comment on the question from the earlier submission. Don't worry so much about the skill sets. For myself, especially, I look at the potential of a person to learn and to adapt. Regardless of whether you come from a psychology background or history or art history. I studied art history as well. It doesn't, as long as you're open to try something new and to reach out and be the best that you can, go ahead and apply.
Thank you very much. Fizah, how about you?
Yeah, I think in terms of encouraging women in technology, a couple of things, well, a couple of words. Couple of words. Read up more. Seriously. There's so many different types of technology out there. SAP, Oracle, open source, Microsoft. I can go on and on and on. It's not going to finish. There's so many different types of technology out there. You just got to put yourself out there. You just have to try it out. See what you feel for, in a way. And here's the thing, it's not scary. What's the worst that could happen if you, let's say, did something wrong? Nothing really, it's just technology. And you learn from it. So yeah, be brave, be adventurous, and just start learning up some new stuff. Thanks, Dion.
Thank you very much, Fizah. Over to you, Lynda.
Okay, I guess a lot of points have been said already. So yeah, I guess one last word is, like Fizah has mentioned, technology is it's a vital thing at this day and age. So I don't think women should be afraid of it. You weren't afraid to buy an iPhone or an Android phone to play around with it. So yeah, do not be afraid to join the technology side of the career path. And yeah, thanks very much, Dion.
Thank you very much, ladies. Okay, we're going to call it a day. Once again, if you have any questions on Accenture as an organization, please feel free to visit our website, www.accenture.com. And if you have any roles which you think you might want to explore within Accenture, please visit our career site at careers.accenture.com, or please feel free to write into me at my email address. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great evening ahead. Bye.